Okay, what in the world just happened here in the heavenly backyard garden? It's more like an ice rink right now. Yeah, we were hit by a major winter storm just the other day, and I got to tell you, it's frozen out here, but the sky is clearing off, and it was clear last night. I got a patch of clouds passing through right now, but it'll be clear again tonight. I'm working on a project. Above all things, its nickname was the Eskimo Nebula, but it would be better to call it today the Inuit Nebula, a person up in the polar regions dressed for the cold. That's exactly what I have right now. Anyway, I've been working on this planetary nebula over the last several weeks. Little did I know it was going to be like I'm up in the frozen north right now. And anyway, here I am at 32 degrees north latitude. I feel like I'm at 52 degrees north latitude. Anyway, I'm going to finish off the project tonight. A couple weeks ago, I got the RGB images of NGC 2392. That is the proper name for this nebula, planetary nebula. And I got the RGB spectrum of that. And then last night, I was working on the narrow band, the hydrogen alpha, the sulfur 2, and the oxygen 3. And I got the O3 and the HA, but I didn't get the S2. So I'm going to work on the S2 for tonight and see if I can put all those together. Meanwhile, I'm going to also try to get a couple of other planetary nebulae. Actually, one's a nebula, is the blue Snowball, which is again appropriate for the heavenly backyard garden this afternoon and for tonight. And then another one called the Bear-Clawed Nebula. Well, it's not a nebula, it's actually a galaxy. I'm going to take a peek at that and see if I can pick it up as well. But anyway, welcome to Heavenly Frozen Backyard Astronomy. Now the system that I'm using is the Celestron 11-inch at full focal length of 2,800 millimeters. This is a very small target, and you need a very long focal length to pick it up, just like as in planets. Yet last night I picked up the planet Venus, and Venus is now waning crescent up in the west-southwestern sky, and there it is, a picture of that. But anyway, you need this very long focal length, and the camera that I'm using is the Player 1 Poseidon. It has a pixel size of 3.76. So the combination of the two, the very long focal length of the Celestron 11-inch telescope and the Poseidon camera with the 3.7 pixel size sensor, should give me a decent view of this planetary nebula and the other two targets I'll be after as well. So let's go inside. It's cold out here. Let's go inside into the warmer office and take a look at some of the processing and the reception of the images from the Celestron through Nina and back into PixInsight. All right, back inside. All right, I'm inside now, and it's night, and it's warmer inside. And, well, let's see, what is it outside? 28 degrees Fahrenheit, okay. Anyway, here we are in Nina, and I'm now getting the sulfur 2 data that I need on this nebula right over here. So this is NGC 2392, or the Clown Face Nebula, the Lion Head Nebula, or whatever. It used to be called the Eskimo Nebula. We're not going to call it that anymore. The Inuit Nebula, we can go with that. Anyway, there it is right now up in the sky. So it's about 45 degrees up above the horizon. So I'm in a good position to get, I need at least a good hour of S2 on this. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm picking up data for S2, and there it is right there, and got it at S2. I'm going to do 300 seconds on that. Meanwhile, just before that, I was putting on some data for the other nebula that I wanted, actually the planetary nebula. That was the Snowball Nebula, and got red, green, and blue on that. I can take a look at some of the raw images that were coming in on that one as I wait for the first image of the NGC 2392 to come in. And let's look at the image history here in Nina. And looking at the red view, holding that up over here, and there's the red and the blue Snowball. And a touch out of focus there, perhaps. Let's get another one. I think I got a better focus earlier, or a little bit later. Let's pull it up over to here. Let's look at the last red one here. And, well, there it is right there anyway. And, all right, that's the red. Let's take a look at the green. Image history, green, there's one right there. Let's take a peek at that. And there's the green. I used 120 seconds on these for the RGB. And let's see, what about the blue? The blue, well, blue should come in strong. Let's see if it does or not. Image, and yeah, the blue right there. Okay. That's the blue Snowball Nebula. Looks like I got a little bit of we had a little bit of some thin clouds passing through. Let's see if there's another image on the blue, just to take a better peek at that. And yeah, I got a little bit of a gradient there, but we'll take that out in post-processing, hopefully. But there's the 3 RGBs on the blue Snowball Planetary Nebula. All right, let's go back to the current image coming in. We're at, we still got another minute yet to go for the first image of the sulfur 2 of the NGC 2392. While I'm waiting, I'm going over here into CPWI Celestron. Since I'm tracking this on the Celestron CGX mount, I'm using the StarSense Auto Guider, and there's the guiding going on right now. It's doing pretty good accordingly. Let's see what the picture looks like in just a moment, but there's the guiding using the StarSense Auto Guider. Okay, I've been trying also with the off-axis guider, and I'm getting pretty good guiding with both. But the StarSense Auto Guider is doing a pretty good job. We'll see in a moment right here. Here comes the first image coming in. Let's take a look. And there it is. And let's zoom in on it. That looks pretty good. What do you think? Yeah, that's the sulfur 2. I need at least an hour on this one to finish off the product. So I'll continue gathering the data. Then after this is done, I'm going to go over to the bear claw. Let's take a look at that. Let's set that up while we're waiting. And that one is, let me get my data list here. That's NGC 2537. So let's bring that up. NGC 2537. Okay, search. There it is. It's just starting to come into view. Then it'll be up the rest of the night. So after I get my good solid hour on the S2, I'm going to switch it over to the bear claw, and then I'll run it for the rest of the night. All right, and let's set it for framing assistant. You see, with a focal length of 2,800 millimeters, you can see how small these objects are. They're about the size of planets, and hence the name Planetary Nebula. But they're the star that is dying, and it's pushing off its outer shell and compressing down into perhaps a white dwarf or a red dwarf even, but probably a white dwarf. And this one, the bear claw, we're going to loop until daybreak, nautical dawn, astronomical dawn. All right, so that'll be 5:56, almost 6 a.m. All right, so we're cooking with gas now, and we'll just wait and see how we finish up here. I'm in PixInsight right now. The first thing I want to look at is NGC 2392. It's about 6,500 light years away, and it is visible with a small telescope in the constellation Gemini, but it is very small, and I'm using the large Celestron 11-inch telescope with that focal length of 2,800 millimeters. Now, the nebula, it's a planetary nebula, once was called the Eskimo Nebula, but I think it'd be more appropriate to call it the Inuit Nebula, or the Clownface Nebula, or the Lion Nebula. And it is surrounded by gas that is composed of the outer layer of a sun-like star. Now, the visible inner filaments are ejecting by a strong wind of particles from the central star. The outer disk contains unusual light-year-long filaments. And I think we can see those filaments. Let's take a look right now. First of all, here is the position of the
Lion Nebula, or the Clown-Faced Nebula. It's in Gemini over here, and there you can see it on the map there. And let's take a look at the actual images. First of all, I did take this in RGB and in narrowband, H alpha, sulfur 2, and in oxygen 3. Here's the sulfur 2. The sulfur 2 came out really nice, and there you can see the shell over here in the red light associated with the sulfur 2. Now the hydrogen alpha came out a little bit bright there, but there you can see it, a lot of reddish orange color there associated with hydrogen alpha. And this is the oxygen 3, the blue light associated with it, and it looks like a lot of blue light came in with this particular image. All right, let's take a look at the combination of all of these. And this is the, what is this one here? That's the O3. All right, we just looked at that. Let's take a look at the SHO. I used an SHO here. And that's SHO, and as you can see, it's blue, and it does have a kind of a face right here, face of a clown or a lion, and or a person in the north with a big hood, furry hood on their face, looking out. But anyway, that's the nebula there. It's a planetary nebula. All right, let's take a look at the. After I passed it through Photoshop a little bit more and enhanced more of the, whoops, a little bit too much there, enhanced some of the features there. You can see it. I think it's better right there associated with that. And then here's the other one. This is the RGB image I took with the red, green, blue filters. The Agnea filters on the Poseidon camera, and they're 4.5 nanometer. Well, this is RGB, so but the narrowband are 4.5 nanometers. But these are the red, green, blue filters, and there you can see it. And if you look and you turn your head kind of like sideways, you can see what looks like a clown face right there. Anyway, that's the Clown-Faced Nebula, or NGC 2392. It's a planetary nebula. There's the core right there, the star in the core right there that contracted, and then the gases expanded outward, and you can see these outward flows right in this area here going outward, forming this what looks like a planetary nebula. It looks like a star with planets around them. But anyway, it's not. It's just a star expelling its outer shell. All right, let's look at the next view as we close these out here. This was the Snowball Nebula, and it's located not too much further away over here in, well, kind of like in Lynx. And the Snowball Nebula, let's see, where do I have it here? The blue Snowball Nebula, which is NGC 7662, is a planetary nebula, again, located in the northern constellation of Andromeda. Okay, this one's Andromeda, the other one's in Lynx, coming up, the Bear Claw. Anyway, it is located about 2,900 light years from Earth, and nebulae like these represent a stage in evolution that a star like our sun will undergo when they run out of fuel. And I got a little bit more information here. The progress begins when I'm reading from NASA. The progress begins when after billions of years of nuclear fusion, the star starts to shut down. Gravity, no longer balanced by the outward pressure created by the nuclear fusion, compresses the stellar core. The star's outer layers of gas puff away into space, creating a planetary nebula, so named because these objects often resemble a planetary orbs when viewed through a small telescope. At the center lies the remains of the original star's compressed core, usually a small white dwarf. One day the sun will meet this similar fate, but don't fear, it still has about 6 billion more years of fuel left before it even starts considering going into this phase. So I'm not too worried about that. Well, anyway, let's take a look at what I found. First of all, I took these in red, green, and blue, and I had a little issues with the focusing on the issue last night. I had a fast-moving jet stream flying by overhead. It was moving at about 150 knots, about 30,000 feet above me. It causes stars to have problems with the focus. There's the red, here's the green, and here's the blue. So can't tell much of a difference there. But let's look at the combination after I put them together and in PixInsight here. This is the combination of the three, red, green, and blue. And let's zoom in a little bit here and bring it down. There you can see the core once again. Let's take a little bit of a closer view after I pass this through Photoshop. And there I could see some of the outward red filaments that are orbiting around this planetary nebula. And there you can see the inner shell pushing outward, and the core is right there. And that's probably a white dwarf star. Here's another view of this, another PixInsight, or from PixInsight, and then I passed it through Photoshop. This one here is PixInsight. This one here has been passed through Photoshop, and you can see if I zoom in, you can see the filaments already beginning to show up. Not bad for, being here at the surface of the Earth, only 18 feet above sea level, so I'm looking through a ton of atmosphere with a high moving jet stream overhead. This came out actually pretty decent. But when you look at these things, though, let's close this down and close this one down here. Looking at the full picture, this, now remember, is with a very long focal length telescope, 2,800 millimeters. Most telescopes are 1,000 millimeters or less. Some of your wider field scopes are less than 400 millimeters. And with the super long focal length, it's great for planetary and planetary nebulae, but you can see it's not very big at all. And this is with the big view. If you have a wide view, this will be just a dot on the screen, kind of like that right over here, this star over here. All right, let's go to the other one that I had, and that was the bear claw. Again, I had issues with that jet stream overnight, but I took this in red, green, blue, and this is, first of all, the location of the bear claw. It is not too far from the Gemini, and it's over to the right of Mars and Gemini in the constellation Lynx. And there it is right there in that location. All right, that's where the bear claw nebula is. And the bear claw it's got a combination. There's another galaxy right next to it. And as I was framing it in Nina, as I showed you earlier, I was maybe guessing if I can get this galaxy in there as well in the same view. Well, check this out. There it is right there. And that is a galaxy. See if I can find the information on that. It is NGC 2683, this galaxy right over here, and it's almost edge-on type galaxy, and it's about, I think, 30 million or so, give or take, light years away, 30 million light years away. Well, the main target was over here. That was the bear claw. Excuse me. Dust got in the air. The air is very dry with this cold air out here. Anyway, there's the bear claw right there. Let's zoom in on that. I think I got it right here. And there you can see this is not a nebula. This is not a planetary nebula like it would be, you'd think, the Bear Claw Nebula. It's actually a dwarf galaxy, about anywhere between 22 million and 40 million light years away. Who knows? But anyway, there it is right there. It has one spiral arm, certainly you can see right in that area there. And if you look up over here, there's another galaxy showing up. That must be way out there. That's a spiral galaxy way far away. Anyway, picking these up with my telescope, let's take a look at the galaxy over here that we were showing earlier. Let's see if I can bring it up. I think it's a little bit further this way. There it is. Again, not the best of pictures, but that's what I got so far with the Bear Claw Galaxy and the NGC 2683 on Edge Galaxy, which is about 30 million light years away. All right, let's go back outside. Do I want to really go back outside? Well, yeah, let's go back outside.
Thanks for watching and putting up with my cold weather events over here. I guess I feel like the rest of the country now with this snow on the ground here. Anyway, Again, thanks for all your support for this channel. I really appreciate that very, very much. And February is right around the corner, and we're getting out of nebulosity season, going in toward galaxy season. And there's a couple of galaxies I'll be chasing over the next few weeks, and then coming in through the month of so cold I can't talk. And then coming into the month of March, a lot more in the realm of galaxies. So again, remember, the heavens are filled with majestic wonders, and they're all in a sky near you. And unless you need rain, and we don't need any more snow, clear skies, everyone.